Hospital Porters, Pride and Dignity, Stop the New World Order. Welcome to HPANWO TV, and welcome to this, the 65th comments reply video. Mind me, we can retire now. We're 65. Yes, the 65th comments reply video. This is where I get to reply to your comments, hence the title. So there's going to be a lot of coughing in this particular video. Now, I do these videos because I don't have time to reply by text, but I feel obliged to respond to you, the viewer, when you take the time and effort to write a comment, and some of you write long, very detailed comments inviting me into discussions. So that's why I make these videos when I don't have time to reply by text. Now, my comments reply videos can be very long. Some of them are the longest videos I've ever done. And you might think to yourself, well, I only want to reply to one comment. I'm not going to watch a 9-hour video just to get a reply to one comment. Well, you don't have to, because I'll put a response to the comment that I'm replying to with a timestamp: first hour, second hour, third hour, etc. Also, my comments reply videos are never 9 hours these days. They are much shorter because I do them a lot more often. I used to do them every month or 2 months. Now I do them every 2 or 3 weeks. Another reason I do these comments reply videos is I enjoy doing them, and you enjoy watching them. I know a lot of you don't just go to your timestamps, you watch them all the way through. Now, you may notice my voice is still a bit husky from the laryngitis. I do have post-COVID laryngitis. Now, it's do you remember the last live stream I did was a bit embarrassing because I was feeling unwell at the time as well. I was still in the trailing edge of the illness itself. I'm over the illness apart from this long COVID symptom. Now, I was hoping it has eased. I think it's improved slightly, but it seems to be lingering an awful lot. Now, I was speaking to someone today, actually, who said that they had long COVID and they had the same symptom as me, the lost voice and sore throat, and it was there for a month before it finally, eventually eased off. Now, I can't take HPANWO TV off the air for a month. I can't afford to do that. So I'm going to have to press on regardless. So this is a comments reply video. After this video, there won't be another video for at least a week because I'm going to be away. I'm going on tour. I'm going to the Birmingham UFO group on. So if you're doing anything Thursday evening, pop along to Birmingham, Beaufort, where I'm doing my talk. So I hope to see you there. I'm also going to I'm going to Sufon as well, the Swansea UFO Network, just with some friends on Wednesday. So there. Okay, so let's start straight away with the first comment, and it's JamNoise72. Hey, soul sister, how are you doing? First, she says, and I say, well done, sis. Congratulations. You get a hug. I'll give you a hug when I next see you. Dark Corner says congratulations. That's on reply to comment 64. JamNoise also says on the same video, hi, bro. Hi, sis. How you doing? Thanks for commenting. And she says 64th on the same video. Oh my god, what? How time flies. Yes, it does. Yes, 64. Well, I do them more often now, so I'm getting through them quite quickly. Gary Robinson, evening Ben, mate, Pride and Dignity. That's a reply to comment 64. Thanks, Gary. Pride and Dignity to you too. And we have our first thread already. Hugo Aroon says yes. 5th comment. Everyone's a winner, Hugo, yes. By golly, it was only 8 minutes after you posted. You have so many fans. Nice one, Ben. We'll watch now. Yes, Hugo. Yeah, I mean, obviously you're not the best of them. JamNoise is the best of them, you know. But 8th is not bad. Hugo, JamNoise says underneath. Hugo, spark it up. Yes. Guess what? I was first. JamNoise says about Chewbacca. I don't remember making a comment. Did I make a comment about Chewbacca? What was this? I'll just go to that now. The tag timestamp. Oh. Apparently I'll be... Oh, I sound like Chewbacca. I do a bit. Hugo says, already done. I have like 30 king sizes in my tin. I'm a 10 a day chap. Oh my goodness. JamNoise says, I put 2 king size together. Lol, I like it long and smooth. It lasts longer. Now, JamNoise. The matron. Now, JamNoise, I suspect maybe you don't realise, but Hugo, when Hugo's talking about king size things, and you're talking about cigarettes. He's talking about something very different. You may be aware of that. I'm not sure. I'll let him explain. Hugo says, now I must try that. Perhaps a rolling mat type of thing will help. All right. Hugo Rune says on comments 54, Dear Flat Earthers, please tell me, is the moon flat too? Good question, yeah. They call it a luminary. Oh, come blimey. Darn, not the Flat Earthers again. Woody Black says, some of them think the moon is a light. Another idea is the moon is some kind of reflection of the Earth, reflecting off the dome that covers the Earth. Others think it's actually a spherical body moving over the flat Earth, though it will be much smaller than science says and much closer. That seems to be the most popular idea, Woody Black. Yes, they call it a luminary. They had that Martin Kenny on this morning debating the moon landing. Oh, goodness, of all the people. They could have had Marcus Allen, they could have had Mary Bennett. Who do they choose? They choose bloody Martin Kenny, Flatty. Neil Paranormal Peep Show says, Flat Earthers don't ever talk about telescopes. If only they did, it would clear YouTube of a lot of wasted space. Yeah. Dark corners. No, the moon is a hologram, according to many Flat Earthers. It is, according to some of them, yes. Kerry Woolley says, in reply to comment 64, James Whale, yes. Poor old Tony Topping he got the James Whale treatment. Now, as I said on the video, Whale's gone downhill. He really has. He did really, really good videos with Timothy Good. He did good interviews with Timothy Good. He even had David Icahn. So he can talk. He can talk about these things seriously. Jam Noises mentioned my Chewbacca sound. Yeah. Reply to comment 64. Gary Robinson. The Alien sequels are indeed pretty rubbish. Apart from the second one that James Cameron did. I thought the Resurrections, the fourth one, was the best. Was that? I think it was James Cameron. No, apparently it wasn't James Cameron who directed it. The art director was a very, very famous Swiss horror artist. Yeah. In his own words, he went to Ridley Scott School as he wanted to make it look consistent with the first film, even though he was going down the epic action movie route with the sequel. As for Ridley, I don't think it was a matter of him not having enough time to make Alien. He basically wanted to get another movie going after his first film, The Duelist, and after Tristan and Isolde was cancelled. Cheers. Yeah, we were talking about that last week. Yeah, I didn't realise that he was going to dramatise Tristan and Isolde. But, yeah, I mean, the second one's not... I mean, the sequel, the second and third are not bad. The third one's not pretty good. I mean, it has a great cast, you know. Pete Postlethwaite, James Glover, you know, with keeping their regional English accents, I think is very, very... it's very well done. But, you know, Resurrection was fantastic. It was horrible. It was actually stomach churning and skin crawling. It was really good horror. Really good body horror from, like I said, the famous artist, horror artist from Switzerland. Was very good, but definitely it was definitely a really, really good film. You know, maybe a watch party is in order for one of these films. You know, I've had a lot. Interestingly, I am going to do another watch party soon. I've had lots of requests for various films such as What Dreams May Come, The Exorcist, which is it's a bit ironic actually, because I actually sound a bit like the girl in The Exorcist right now, don't I? But maybe the Alien. Maybe we could do Alien at some point. Starting with maybe do a season of them. You know, I want to do maybe Peter Weir season as well. Maybe do Dead Poets Society and The Truman Show, which are both excellent films. Gary Robinson says here underneath as well. P.S. Ridley Scott's unmade version of Dune eventually came to the David Lynch version. Oh, I didn't. Yeah, I was watching David Lynch's Dune the other day because it's going off. It's going to be dropped from Amazon Prime in a couple of days. Oh, it's already happened, I think, the 30th of September. I forgot how good it was, how much better it was than the Villeneuve one. I've never seen the TV series. I know there's about 4 or 5 different versions of it. I didn't know Ridley Scott was doing one. Okay, we have a German spammer here. Let's get a German spammer. No doubt Michael Shrimpton sent you. Gary Robinson says here as well on 64. What you were saying about the all-female Ghostbusters movie, thankfully it's not canon, was recently snubbed for the 40th anniversary box set, which includes the 2 original films plus the new one, which is called Ghostbusters Afterlife. I didn't really enjoy the new film, to be honest. I felt the same way about it as I did with The Force Awakens, which is that after 35 years, how is this the best storyline you can come up with? Pathetic. I've not seen the new Ghostbusters. I watched the trailer and I saw it wasn't woke, and I thought that's pretty good, but... yeah, yeah, I'm glad that the female Ghostbusters is not canon. It's ridiculous. I mean, Milo got into an argument with Leslie Jones. I mean, Leslie Jones is not a bad actress, but she shouldn't be in these sorts of things. You know, just because I object to the concept and the film doesn't mean I'm against the actors and actresses. Same videos. The Light Swallow says, Ben, surely you are 48 this year, born in 1974. I'm not going to tell you exactly how old I am, the Light Swallow, what my actual birth year was, but I'm in that kind of ballpark. You know, I'm what the goodies used to call the in-betweenies. Reply to comment 64, Gary Robertson. Ben, mate, I think you would look good in a Peaky Blinders cap as opposed to your baseball cap. This is in reply to Hugo's comments about your hat. Cheers. All right. What's a Peaky Blinders cap? Let's have a look. Hang on. I've heard of Peaky Blinders. Here we go. I've heard of Peaky Blinders. It's an English crime drama. All right. I've not seen that. Following the experts of Aftermath. I've heard of it so many times I've never seen it. It's a bit like Game of Thrones. You know, I've never ever watched Game of Thrones. Peaky Blinders cap. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, those are quite fashionable now. They were very in vogue in the early 20th century. And if you watch a lot of old movies, you know, old Hitchcock movies and things like the early Alfred Hitchcocks and things like that, a lot of people are wearing these types of hats. They've seemed to have come back into fashion. I've noticed a lot of fashions seem to be cyclical. For example, you know, miniskirts were like big in the 60s and then they sort of vanished. But I remember in the 90s, a lot of women started wearing miniskirts again. So yeah, maybe I'll see. I wonder what it'd look like wearing one of those. Never tried one on, but thanks for the offer. The Lights Were Low reply to comment 64. Hi Ben. I was just hearing that the Boris was cloned phrase reminded me of a journalist client of mine back at the start of C19, who suggested that Boris had in fact not contracted a very heavy dose of the aforementioned, which would put him in hospital for over 2 weeks, but instead had suffered a mild heart attack. It was never going to sound good putting out that the PM had suffered a heart attack during such a crisis, particularly when putting his health issue down to C19 could further what a terrible virus narrative this is. Look, it could strike even the leader of the country. Could it be true? Feasibly, yes. Theoretically, it's possible that's happened. I was only kind of half joking about Boris being cloned. The whole Boris being cloned thing is actually is because he changed. He seemed to undergo a massive change. He changed for the worst in almost every way, becoming almost a typical statesman, a typical mainstream politician after he'd shown such promise with the Get Brexit Done thing. You know, Britain's Trump. Maybe they threatened his family, I don't know. Reply to comment 64, Hugo Rune. Adverts affect me oddly. I rarely see them, but if I do, I will never buy that product. But honestly, I never see adverts. No TV here, no ads on my YouTube Firefox browser. Yeah, no, it's got a built-in ad block, hasn't it? I find ads, I actually I've never bought anything I've seen in an ad. But ads are becoming more and more prevalent everywhere on television. Well, not that I watch much television, but I've heard this from people. And indeed, on YouTube, they used to be like just ads at the beginning with everyone had a skip button. Now they're like 20-second ads with no skip buttons. Sometimes you have to scroll through over 40 seconds of ads before you can watch the video. And I just mute them, or I go and move to another tab or something while they're going on. I don't know why. It's annoying that sometimes ads, also long ads, appear in the middle of videos. Sometimes like in really dramatic moments. It was like it's totally spoil the atmosphere. It's getting like American TV. Same video, Hugo Rune. You've prompted me to search for Steve mumbling YouTube stuff. I have found his site. Will enjoy investigating and perhaps commenting. Oh, cool. Well, we'll check out Steve. Yeah, I mean, I do watch Steve's videos, not every day, but I do watch Steve's videos, and sometimes I even do replies to them. In text, and sometimes I'll do a video reply. Hugo says again, you keep mentioning ads. I do not understand your problem. All right, he's repeating more or less. Paraphrase, he's repeating the same question he did before, the same comment he did before. Maybe Hugo's stoned and doesn't realise this. Reply to comment 64, BZ Garson. What if I made 4 comments, each in different hours? I'd have to watch and listen to the entire video, wouldn't I? Correct. Hugo Rune, reply to comment 64, 133 and a bit onward. Here we go. I remember this. I was talking about time travel. Time travel, I agree, impossible. But you then mention interdimensional travel. WTF? Show me how to do it, please, Ben. I'm a cripple. I love to travel interdimensionally. Well, you don't need to be able to walk to travel interdimensionally. How do you do it? Well, technically, the wormhole, the Einstein-Rosen bridge, which exists in theory, is used to shortcut vast distances in our own universe, but could technically found in another membrane, another universal membrane. I don't have the details here. I suggest there's several really, really good videos you can watch. Like even the BBC made some good ones. So check that out, Hugo. Rick Horden replied to comment 64. White people playing the Zulus, lol. Yeah. Well, that would never happen, of course, but it was an example of what I said. It was an example of the kind of thing that I used as a comparison for having non-white people playing white roles in cinemas. Having a warm drink actually helps my throat a bit. Gary Robinson, Ben, in regards to a female Indiana Jones, check out the Luc Besson movie, Adele Blanc Sonk. Very good film. Indy meets Amelie. Cheers. Alright. I'll check that out, Gary. Marky Boy says on 64, the horror. They now remade The Man Who Fell to Earth. Oh God, I saw that, yes. She would have never been remade, as Bowie was the only person who could pull that story off. I think many people who really viewed him as an alien at the time. It's an excellent film, so maybe you should do a watch party on it. That's another request for watch parties, Marky. It'll take me a while to get through them all. The original is fantastic. Now, it has sad connotations for me because it's one I used to watch all the time with my ex-partner, Sue Stain, and watching it again would bring back sad memories, but I've got to get over it, basically at some point I've just got to get over it and say, what the hell, it's 6 years ago we split up, let's just put it behind me. So yeah, maybe I will. I certainly won't watch the remake. Marky Boy also says here, Ben, you could go for the red beret Captain Sensible style. I think you could pull it off as a look. By the way, after waiting 2 years to see The Damned, I'm no longer moaning about that, as apparently the delay is due to him refusing to have the jab. What an apt name he has. Oh, there's that good old Captain Sensible. Yeah, happy talking, happy talk. Oh, that's from South Pacific, isn't it? Yeah. Alright, I don't know if those rules are still in place anyway. Marky Boy, YouTube, as in a female sheep, is deleting and hiding comments like crazy from what I can see. Oh yeah, no doubt. I've checked before I did this comments reply video, like I always do. I checked the spam folder and I couldn't see anything. But obviously, it doesn't mean anything, does it? It doesn't really mean anything. Dark Corners UK says on 64, thanks Ben, I'll get in contact with the East Anglia UFO Network. Hope to speak to you live at some point in the future. I hope so, Dark Corners. If you can get to Birmingham on Thursday, I'll be speaking there. It's the Hot Shot Snooker Club. If you go to the Bufog website, P-O-U-B-U-F-O-G, all the details are there. Stephen Truthseeker says on 64, I remember your MBA videos from long ago. Hey Stephen, that's true. You've been watching me for ages, haven't you? Yeah. It's something I did a lot about in the early days. I could refer to MBAs now. Yeah. Stephen also says here on the same video, Lara Croft at the end of Tomb Raider movie mentions the Illuminati. Yes, that's one of the things I like about it. That is what. It's actually quite a good film. It is. It's much better than. It's much better than. It's way better than I thought it was going to be. Picnic at Hanging Rock Watch Party Review, Gary Robinson. So it turns out that 2 HD versions of the theatrical cut have been made available, shall we say. One is 720p, the other is 1080p, which I'm currently watching. The letters YTS come to mind. Cheers. Youth training scheme. Yeah, they're on YouTube. You know, there doesn't seem to be they've been on there a couple of years. Doesn't seem to be an issue. Okay, UFO Disclosure 2022. Why now? Oh, blimey, I could add some. I need to do another one of those. Morning, Ben, mate. There was a really good interview with Uri Geller on GB News this morning. He was talking about a small island bird sanctuary he's bought in Scotland. Ah, yes, I know. It's off. It's I think in the further forth, I think. But he was giving an interview from Tel Aviv in what seemed to be an Uri Geller museum. Oh, he does those sometimes, you know. He showed a golden ball that John Lennon gave him and explained that Lennon called him late one night and was a bit of a state, asked Uri to come to his place. They met halfway in the hotel lobby where Lennon told him that a portal opened next to his bed and an extraterrestrial reached out and gave him a golden sphere. So I'm starting to whisper now. He drew a picture which is in a frame along with the sphere in the museum. Uri then spent several minutes saying how he had spoken to Werner von Braun back in the days about UFOs and he'd seen footage that convinces him we are not alone. It was a very pro-UFO interview, mate. Cheers. I'll check that out because I like GB News. And funny enough, you know, believe it or not, he's been in the papers talking about like alien contacts and things like that. That's very interesting. On 64, Jam Noise says, bro, we need to do a live later, we need to celebrate it. Alright, that of course refers to the queer old Dean, the dear old Queen, and her departure. And I said, I put in text, hi Souls, I'm a bit tired because I've just done HPANWO radio, but you can bet I'll be covering this, and I did cover it. As I explained in my live stream on HPANWO radio, it didn't affect me the way I expected to be affected. It really didn't. It was very excuse me, not me. I explained in the video anyway exactly how I expected to be celebrating, and I couldn't. I just couldn't. I'll explain why in the live stream, which I know you've seen. We have a thread here on bathing into history. New video. First says Crafty Knight, yay, well done. And Mark Porritt says, well done, you. And Crafty says, it's a personal achievement I don't take lightly. I'll probably write about it one day. And I say, well done, Crafty, seeing as you're in this vid. And they are, of course, in the vid. Max Q said to Crafty Knight, how sad. What's sad about that, Max? DD Brook says, you need to set your goals a bit higher, seriously. Crafty says to DD Brock, go away. DD Brock says no. What's wrong, DD Brock and Max? What's wrong? Why are you such party poopers, honestly? You're such wowzers, as the Australians say. Bathing into history, Andy G3 says, new camera, Ben? Yeah, it was my mobile phone camera. It was an experiment. I thought I'd see if I could shoot the thing on my mobile phone. And I did, I succeeded, but the editing and copying and, oh god, I could make an entire video about how difficult it was. Simply copying the file from the phone, editing them, some of them I had to rotate, others I had to compress. This is why it took so long to get the video uploaded. I haven't actually got myself my new camcorder yet. That's something because I've been ill, it's sort of slipped my mind. But before I go out and do another reportage or another location shoot, I will have I'll definitely have a camera, a proper camera. Another spammer, which get rid of here. And we have here Hugo Rune. Reply to comments 1. Oh, it's an old, well, this was in 2016. Hugo, bless you. I realised I'd never watched this, so doing so now. You mentioned that fat bald cunt. Sorry, can't help it. FPC. I don't know what FPC stands for. Here we go. This is my first comments reply video. I'm in my old room, I believe.
Fat bald cunt and things like that. I can't cope with people like that. You say.
Yeah, people do call me that. When they're some of the more polite trolls call me that. Others that are ruder call me much worse things. Hugo Rune says on reply to comment 64. Hi Ben, your brand new tube site is down. Yes. All of brand new tube went down. I wonder if it's back yet. Because I know that they were trying to restore it. Oh, there was a massive brand new tube. Let's have a look. Because I know that they were trying to restore it. Sonia Poulton. Oh, it's back now, I think. Yes, it's back. Good. That means well, I need to log in. Mind you, I'll have to think of a new password. I can I might have to set up a new account. I don't know. Brand new tube was buggered. It was gone. For all I know, it's probably been hacked now because it has my old password on there. I can't remember because I changed the passwords on everything else because, of course, brand new tube itself was hacked and all the passwords from all the members were stolen. It was put up on a public site, probably so the trolls would have gone there and got my login details. Unfortunately, the password I used to use on BNT, I used on lots of other things, so I had to spend about 2 hours changing every password, every single website where I have a password, which I use that password. So, I mean, I'll have to set up a new account and choose a password I don't choose from anything else. Anyhow, let me just see, actually. Let me just go to HPANWO TV and just see if a brand new tube, if my channel is still there. It doesn't. There was only like about 5 videos on it, so it doesn't really matter. It was literally just 5 videos. I found it very, very annoying. Let's have a look here. Let's have a look at this. Not found, right. It could be the thing's not fully restored yet, or it could be that my channel literally is gone. Which I say doesn't really matter. I'll set up a new channel. Right, where was I? Okay. Stephen Truseca says on Bathing into History, I lived for 3 months as a homeless person in Bath. That's it. Just Stephen, that's a. Do you mind me saying that's a rather odd comment? You just happen to mention you lived for 3 months as a homeless person in Bath. Now, the reason I'm saying it is that you tend to. I don't know why you do this. Maybe you can explain, but you don't have to explain. It's your business. But I find it odd that you mention the fact that you were homeless at almost every opportunity. When you slip it into discussions all the time. And indeed the word homeless used to be in your username. I remember. I find that a bit worrying because it seems to have, correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems to have become a part of your identity. It's almost like something you're proud of. And I don't want to say any more because obviously, I don't know. But that's the impression I get from you. And I need you to ask yourself, is that healthy? Is it healthy to have that as a part of your identity? I mean, it's like the Welsh. I mean, I'm a Welsh boy. And wherever I go in Wales, people say things. People are always moaning about the English. Oh, we suffer so much because of the bloody English. And it's like, it's almost like they're defining themselves by their sense of victimhood. And to me, that's not healthy. And so just ask yourself that question, Stephen. Okay. Same video, David explains isolation. Great reportage, Ben. Did they offer you a complimentary glass of bath water? No, not this time because I didn't go there. I mean, I didn't go to the pump house this time. I did the first time when I drank the water. It's actually foul. It's revolting. It's got sulphur in it. And they give you a little glass. It's warm and it smells of rotten eggs. And you down it in one, and I downed it in one. It almost made me gag. But apparently it's very healthy. No, I'll find some other way. I want to be healthy, but I don't want to be healthy that much. David says, when I went back in the day, they did. Obviously, it's an orangey colour and doesn't look too appetising, but said to be wholly safe. It tastes funny, but mostly okay. I quickly finished my tall glass. Maybe it did me good. Who knows? I don't. Who knows, David? But I mean, it does taste. It tastes rather foul, actually. and I just drank it in one. It's very warm as well. Bathing into history, nothing as it seems. Out of bed and onto Bath and beyond. Yes, I did. It was great, that. Yeah. And we have a thread here. Oh, this is from my. Okay, this is from my. My community notice. I wrote a community notice a little while ago. Mr. Hussey and the there we go. It was. Viewers may be wondering what coverage I'll be providing of today's explosive news. That's it. The Queen. Yeah, and there's some comments on it here. Neil Peel, the Paranormal Peep Show, says, "It's how ironic that Liz Truss becomes PM and 2 days later the other Liz departs. Condolences to her family. I'm no royalist, however, but I respect those that are, and condolences to those that feel sad on this historic occasion." Crafty says, "And she's a Liz too." Oh, she's a Lizard. Neil says, "Both were hatched from eggs." Lemsip says, "Liz Truss became party leader on Monday, but not PM until the next day." That's right, the Queen. That's funny. The Queen has to ask her to form a government, as I explained. The Queen died 2 days after that. I wonder if this has been the shortest period between a change of head of state and a change of head of government in British history, and probably world history. Stanley Baldwin became PM a year and a half before George V died. That's right, it was 1924, I believe. I know because this comes up in the Obscurati Chronicles. Neil says, "Definitely a sharp change on many fronts. Now we also have banknotes changed and stamps changed and letterboxes." Well, yes. The stamps and banknotes the new ones will all be different with Charles's face on, his big-eared ugly mug. The letterboxes, new post boxes will all have his monogram on, CR3, Charles Rex III. But the old ones won't be changed. I mean, there's one near me that's still VR, Victoria Regina. I've seen a lot of GRs, George from George VI, Edward VII, things like that. Post boxes are often very old. The old cast iron traditional ones go back a century or more. Lemsip says to Pat Neal, "All this will take time, and there's a mourning period and operations to arrange for a funeral. Operation London Bridge won't be enough because there's an extra operation for the Queen dying at Balmoral. This morning Prince Charles was officially appointed as monarchy by the Privy Council." He was indeed. That's where he had his problem with the pen leaking. Yeah. I can't help feeling a bit sorry for Charles. But yeah, she died at Balmoral, so they had to do this big tour in a car and fly her coffin back from Edinburgh to London. Neil says, "Yes, it will. Oddly enough, I happened to be visiting my 2 grown-up kids in Scotland when the Queen died. I'm now en route to Edinburgh and to stay with my son. So we plan on catching the Queen's coffin as it's transported through the streets tomorrow in Edinburgh. Something I never thought I'd be seeing. Did you do it, Neil? Let us know." Lemsip says to Neil, "We will only be able to catch King Charles in Cardiff. I've seen him once when he was heir to the throne, way back from the Welsh Assembly, as it was known at the time." Yeah, he's spoken at the Welsh Assembly. He can speak basic Welsh. He was crowned in 1969 Prince of Wales at Carnarvon Castle. I've never watched that. It is on YouTube. I've never watched it. It was done in Welsh as well. Bathing in history. Steve mumbling, "It looks more like a town meeting at Royston Vassy." Oh, Steve, I'm glad you're a League of Gentlemen fan. Yes. Are you local? Are you? Oh. The Crafty Nihilist. Oh, that Royston Vassy was filmed. I was talking about the place where it was actually filmed. It's become a bit of a tourist attraction. The Crafty Nihilist puts on my community notice 3 lizards. Same community notice, David Daniel. "Hi Ben, why wouldn't you want to comment? I'm sorry if I'm being thick. I'm new to your channel." And I said to a text here, "David, thanks for joining me. I'm going to comment on a live stream Tuesday at 9 PM. David says, "Thank you." You're welcome, David Daniel. Hope you enjoy this channel. Hope my voice doesn't put you off. Bathing in History Dark Corners says, watching this on my Ultra 4K Ready TV. Ben's mush has never looked so glorious. Really? Oh my goodness me. Well, luckily I do have like a 4K function, but I can't actually. They're too big for my editing software. This is why I have to convert every file. Max Q says it's in 480 DPI. Tim Dark Corner says still looks pretty good on my massive TV. Yeah, that's true, Max. I had to compress it. I had to compress the file, which produces a lower resolution image. But I'm glad I still look good, Dark Corners. Max says, I don't have a TV, or the idiot box as I call it. Well, for once we agree, Max. Yes, it isn't. I'm glad you don't have one. You're not missing a lot. I don't have a TV either. 99% of it is utter bullshit. The 1% worth watching always ends up online. Dark Corner Sister Max, I don't watch any live broadcast TV, but I do like to watch YouTube and movies on it occasionally. I occasionally watch TV, usually when the others are out. And again, usually if there's just a movie on I want to see. Bathing in History. Wayne RS4, what a great video. Brings back memories of my my trips to the baths a couple of years ago. Nice one, Ben. More of these out and about interesting videos, please. Request granted, Wayne. I'll make sure I do one. Thank you very much. I'm really glad you enjoyed that. I really am. Yes, I'm planning. I am going to the Lapis conference later in the month. I'll have a proper camcorder for that. Even if my voice is still bad, I'm still going to do a reportage. Community notice Marley Pumpkin. Oh God. Typical MI5 agent you are. Yeah, that's one whose videos you watch religiously, don't you? You can't bear it, but you can't look away, Marley. You're like the two old men in the private box at the Muppet Show. Why do we always come here? I guess we'll never go. Bonto Mac says on Bathing in History, Rod at 20338. What is there? Let's have a look.
Originally, then it was like paranormal.
Oh yeah.
It was in a field of paranormal. You know, it was.
Okay, what I'll do. Thanks, Bronto. Thank you very much. You get love art for that. I'll have to slow that down and see what it was. It may be an insect. I'll tell you who could help you with this. If you're watching, Nick Hayes. I will just get that clip and slow it down, things like that. Thank you. Nick Hayes is good with this because he can actually knows the difference between the rods and the real thing. Community notice Dark Corners. She has returned to that large vivarium in the sky. Yes. It was you who... and Crafty says, or the one underground. Yes. Reply to comment 64. Steve mumbling. You can take it for granted that anything in Nexus magazine is absolute rubbish. I can do my Steve mumbling voice even better like this. Well, Steve, I don't agree. There is rubbish in Nexus, I must say, but I have to disagree with you. I think it's one of your country's greatest exports, quite frankly, and I think you should be proud of it. David Smith has done a really long video here. Do you mind if I whisper this? Because of my voice. I'm not aware of any good evidence for these beliefs-only claims. It's faulty reasoning to conclude truth to incredible claims without good evidence. I agree, David. But I mean, I do disagree with you about the evidence for the claims. Take holograms. Just shows some actual evidence that it's possible to generate a fully formed hologram of a plane in the sky during daylight. I've seen one at Thorpe Park. Well, it wasn't a plane. It was actually a guy dancing. I've seen the hologram game at Thorpe Park, if that's the one you mean. I remember being amazed by it. Again, MJ's hologram was generated under very specific control conditions. But to use this as evidence in any way of the amazing claims made by conspiracy theorists about how holograms are used in the New World Order sense is completely different. Yeah, Michael Jackson, true, it was indoors, it was in a studio. Now, obviously this is outdoors in the sky, but it's still possible. You need a projector, a laser projector, and some kind of surface to project onto, or some... What's the word I'm looking for? I'm trying to find the right word for something you project onto, a cloud of smoke or steam, which you could then which would act as a projection for the laser. You could produce a very solid looking image that way, even with something that wouldn't necessarily be visible. And some kind of medium, that's the word I'm looking for, medium. Some kind of medium to project onto. But to use this, okay, it's like suggesting because I have a globe that levitates using magnets on my desk that anti-gravity crafts are real. No. You have a globe that levitates on your desk because it is a magnet. It levitates by magnetic levitation. This is totally different. This is a completely different suggestion of how things are created, of how by a completely different mechanism. There has to be some kind of explanation for why the evidence of an aircraft hitting a building doesn't exist, yet you appear to see it happening. As Dr. Judy Wood explains, you have like a kind of roadrunner shaped hole in the building. So a roadrunner like shaped hole. You know, because cartoon characters go through solid objects, they leave a hole which is their shape. Guesses and fuzzy logic isn't a good way to get to the truth. Well, it's different. I mean, I did my best to explain why, David. You sitting there telling us what you believe isn't evidence of truth. No, it's not. But it's me sitting there telling you that what I believe and why I believe it, and I put together a rational thesis is. It's evidence of what you believe. No, it's not. You see, it's not. Sorry, I should let you finish that sentence. You don't offer a way to tell if one flying object is a hologram and another not. This is an example of your beliefs letting you down if your goal is to attain truth. So I don't quite understand what you mean. I see in the sky what looks like an aeroplane, and even on some of the videos it makes noise. And the new one that's just been released, it actually does make a noise. You can hear its engine, you can hear the explosion as it supposedly strikes. There are other videos where there are no noise. It's things like that. So I'm not sure what you mean by telling if one is an object or not. For myself, I see no good evidence to suggest holographic technology exists to create such things. And until good evidence comes to light that opposes that, I see no good reason to accept it as a belief. Well, obviously I disagree, but it's, you make the decision about what you believe, what you accept. I've done my best to explain to you why I believe as I do, using a rational thesis. If you don't accept that thesis and you think I'm wrong somewhere, feel free to explain to me why specifically I'm actually wrong. Now, you've only actually mentioned one thing in this entire long post. You've only mentioned, it's only in the first paragraph, or the second paragraph, you actually provide some kind of antithesis, some kind of counter thesis to explain why you think I'm wrong. That's to do with the projection of holograms. You stop there and you don't go on. So I'd be interested to know if you carry on and explain to me why I'm wrong. To keep my comments readable, I try to make them as short as possible. you do. I tell you what, you may be trying, mate, but I wouldn't. If I was editor of Reader's Digest, I wouldn't give you a job, because there's so much more that could be said when it comes to conspiracy theorist logic and critical thinking failures and how that can cause harm. Actually, I was teasing you just now, David, but if you want to write a longer post and say more about those things, please do. I don't put time. If you make a really long post, I'm not going to say, oh, that's too long, I'm not going to read it. The only time I do that is with people like who post long Bible quotes and things like that. If you post a really long, you could post like 1,000 words or 2,000 words or something about the subjects. You say you want to make your comments as short as possible. If you want to make them longer, you're welcome to. If you want to say more about that subject which you just said, please do, because I'm happy to hear the other side of the story. Luckily, there are many creators out there who make some great content addressing those subjects, and I'd be really interested for you to do reply videos to them, or like I previously suggested, have a live discussion with one of the call-in shows. Right, you're right, there are some content creators that are very interesting in that respect. For example, Mick West. Steve Mumbling actually does quite a good job in that respect. There's a few others. Skeptic, I follow skeptics on Twitter. I follow skeptics all over social media. So yeah, and I have made reply. I've made numerous. I mean, just go to my channel and look for all the reply videos I've made to various people. Stefan Molyneux, Steve Mumbling, Sargon of Akkad, Dave Cullen, Morgoth's Review. I've made reply videos to all these people who have a skeptical attitude to things I talk about. And you suggested I have a live discussion, right? Well, I've done that, haven't I, with Bowler Hat Man? Have you seen my video with Bowler Hat Man? I did a live discussion with him. I mean, he talked about the Russia situation. He and I have very different views. But you can go and watch that. I've also been on the Be Reasonable show with Michael Marshall of Merseyside Skeptics. There's a link on HPANWO Voice to that. So I've done... See, all these things you suggest, I've already done. And I will continue to do them. That's quite a good comment, David. But, I'd actually prefer it if you say more about why you think I'm wrong. We've got a little thread here. Bathing into History, Gary Robinson. Ben, mate, I'm currently sitting at my desk with a cup of tea containing 10 drops of ayahuasca micro-dosing oil. Oh, God. I'm interested to see what your future comments are going to be like. So here we go. I've had my first sip, and I'm enjoying this video, by the way, mate. Cheers. Yeah, well, what's it like to watch Bathing into History? Hi. The respected Lex says underneath, how was it? And Gary says here, do you mind if I whisper this, Gary? Well, I've been having 10 drops a day in my morning coffee, and so far I'm feeling rock solid in both body and mind. I'm told that for it to work properly, I need to take it on its own, and that I must not eat or drink anything else 2 hours before or 2 hours after. This is a bit tricky for me, as I'm a visual migraine sufferer, so I have to eat or drink regularly. Oh, right. Do you know, people with migraine often have I think they call it aura. Migraine's a very mysterious condition. If you have it, for many people it's just a very unpleasant headache and illness, but others actually have altered states of consciousness. I tell you, a guy to read about this is Anthony Peake. I've just ordered his new book. In fact, it arrived. It's over there on my bed. Did you see the envelope there on my bed? Yeah, so if you suffer from migraine, it's possible you have a tendency to alter states of consciousness. But even so, the change has been quite dramatic. I had been feeling relentlessly unwell and tired all day and every day for the past few months. It was getting to the point where I couldn't do a decent day's work, despite eating well and having a good night's sleep. Cheers. All right. It's interesting. Maybe it'll help. Maybe it'll help with your migraine. I mean, yeah. But do check out Anthony Peake. Right, we've got reply to comments 5. This is an old one. Hugo Rune says on there, Yoruba is in Nigeria. I've been there. Oh, it's a language, I think, and it's I believe it's a language and a place. Yeah, it's interesting, Hugo. You've been almost everywhere, haven't you? I know you travel a lot. You had a job where you travelled a lot. I know you've been to Ukraine. He was in Nigeria as well, yeah. Bathing into History. Sonara's Ashtray. Hi, Sonara. How are you? This was such a great video, Ben. I'm glad you liked it, Sonara. I thought it'd be just up your street because I know you're a bit further into the West Country than I think you're actually the most extreme area of West Country possible. But all the West Country has that same mystical side to it, which I know you appreciate. Reply to comments 5. Your facial hair looks good, says Hugo Rune. Oh, God. Mine is permanent. I'm unable to shave. I've got ingrowing hair and a beard, and a beard in the army makes the gas mask useless. Wish I could shave, but keep a trim beard for now. All right. I see. I've got an ingrown hair. It's actually it's a bit sore up here, but I do. I generally don't like grow a beard. I've grown a beard deliberately twice. I did it once for a bet. And I also did it when Gillette made that horrible anti-male, anti-white advert. So I grew a protest beard for about 6 weeks. Just gets too itchy though. But you're right about beards. Actually, you do need like to have a clean shaven face for a gas mask to have a proper connection. And I know because the fire brigade are the same. You can't have you can't have a beard in the fire. Well, you have to have you can't have these parts covered in hair if you're in the fire brigade. That's right. Same with the army, of course, where you have NBC gear and stuff like that. Reply to comments 5. Hugo, this is back in 2016. I'm surprised to see you drinking wine on this video. I thought you didn't drink. I'm a brewdog man myself. I do drink, Hugo, not normally when I'm making videos. It was an exception this time. Maybe it's something I used to do and I don't do anymore. Reply to comments 5 again. I haven't seen this for ages. Reply to comments 5, bloody heck. I started doing regular comments replies in 2016, that's right. I've been skinning up spliffs during watching your early shows. I've now got 50 spliffs in my tin. That should last me 5 days. I thought it'd last you about 1 day, Hugo. Let's see. I'm enjoying watching your early reply to vids. Thank you, Hugo. You're getting a love heart. I'm glad you're going through all these old videos. You know, I mean, I'm proud of them. You know, I'll keep them. I'll preserve them for as long as I can. And they're all on alt tech as well, just in case my YouTube gets yeeted. So yeah, I'm enjoying watching my early video reply to vids. Yeah, yeah. I remember but they used to be much longer videos, but now these are much shorter. But good luck with them, Hugo. Bathing into history, Helen Tucker. I loved the tour of the baths. Thanks. Oh, you're welcome. That's I think the 3rd time I've done a video of the baths, and it was quite nice. It was nice, wasn't it? It was probably the best time. Right, my community notice on the Queen. Hugo Roon, you're being a hypocrite now, aren't you? You said she was already dead weeks ago, and that she was a middle-aged shape-shifting lizard from outer space. You could include an apology for that rubbish, perhaps. And I replied by text to Steve, no, because I maintain those things are true. Steve Mumbling says, you really have no idea how ludicrous that sounds to someone who lives in the real world, do you? And BZ said underneath, Ben and respect are strangers. What do you mean? I've been very respectful. I mean, you know, I've been more respectful than I expected to the Queen. As I explained in my live stream, I couldn't bring myself to be vainglorious about it. BZ says he has previous as regards to making conspiracy videos uncomfortably soon after tragedies occur. He will stick to the Queen is a lizard narrative. It will be a lesson in utter lunacy for a fully grown adult. Hang on a sec. I have previous, what, this is like a criminal record, in making conspiracy videos uncomfortably soon after tragedies occur. Alright, MB, so what you're saying basically is that when a tragedy occurs and some false story is put out to explain why it happens, and I make a video exposing that falsehood, that's uncomfortably close, is it? That's uncomfortable. So what you're basically saying is that if I was walking down the street and I saw an old lady being kicked to death by muggers and they steal her handbag and run off, to show respect to that lady's memory and to show sensitivity for her loved ones, what I have to do is to tell the police, oh no, she wasn't mugged, she just collapsed of a heart attack, she must have lost her handbag. Is that what I have to do? Do I have to uphold a false story about what happened to be sensitive, to be caring? Because I think that's what you're suggesting, BZ, aren't you? Well, not a chance. Not a chance. When these tragedies occur, first of all, the truth needs to be exposed so those people have justice, and the miscreants are themselves captured and brought to justice. Secondly, we need to prevent things like this happening again. So I make absolutely no apology for anything I've said along these lines. Lemsip says on my community notice, official mourning period is 15 days, funeral next weekend, then another 5 days, and in the meantime do some reading from Republic's reading list and watching the broadcasts, what I will be doing. And I then said in text that, along with that, hope you check out the upcoming live stream. I'll post a notice soon with the details, which I did. And Lemsip, I think you did watch it. Yeah, I mean, I'm actually subbed to the Republic YouTube channel. I follow them on Twitter as well. I don't have anything to do with them on Facebook, but I'm interested in hearing their arguments. But I'm not a Republican for the reasons I explained. Reply to comments 64. Right, can I whisper? The TK, I'm going to whisper now. Was just listening to your reply to comments while playing a game and needed to tell you are completely full of inconsistencies. The whole reply to comments thing is just another Ben defensive mechanism. As you know, you get embroiled in scientific proof and factual evidence when you reply in text. Not at all, Pete. TK, I do that when I do that now as well. I don't see replying in text as any different to making a comments reply video when it comes to what you're talking about. I don't understand why there's a difference. These replies to comments allow you to reply without any debate or counter-debate. Rubbish! What are you talking about? These comments reply videos encourage debate and counter-debate. They do the exact opposite of what you're saying. You simply say, I don't know what you're talking about. If anyone does bring up comments based on previous comments. Well, no, I ask them to remind me. And some people do with timestamp. Putting a timestamp's a good idea. But, if I say I don't know what you're talking about, I am being honest. And, you see, the same could be said if it's a text. Oh, and actually, alright, to be fair, if it was a text, I could just scroll up. But, it's not too much effort simply to just put in a little reminder. It only has to be a few words. Or a timestamp. Anyway, the inconsistencies are why I'm commenting. And there are so many I don't even know where to start. Alright, TK, but as I said to David, just start somewhere. Just tell me, start with just one of them, because you don't actually. This comment is really a long dirge of rhetoric. There's no real. You don't really make any kind of axiom here. You don't really put any proposition in. So I'll be interested, as I said to David Smith. Put in some kind of. Just put in anything. Oh, you do here. Right, good. We got one here. Reply to comment 64. This is a short one. I can probably voice it. Inconsistency. You offer no evidence of being shadow banned, yet people comment they found your video. So you get evidence all the time that you're not in any way banned. So it's inconsistent to just keep on saying I'm shadow banned. You even had a live stream banned. Why are they banning you if they already banned? Just stop. No, you see, I don't think that's an inconsistency, because I present evidence for why I'm shadow banned. It's very, very strong circumstantial evidence based on my statistics. Also on reports of people having their comments deleted, being unsubbed, things like that. And then when someone does, then I get evidence saying I'm not shadow banned. Well, sometimes people do people comment they find your video. They actually do. I mean, but when people put in specific search terms and you scroll down far enough, you will find a shadow banned video. You will, but you have to. The thing what YouTube shadow banning is not taking your video completely out of the search function and leaving it unsearchable. That's essentially an unlisted video. So they're not unlisting your video. They are putting it in a limited state where it is prioritized less by the search algorithms. Now, just because it's prioritized less doesn't mean that people cannot find it. If you go to the doctor and he books you in for a non-urgent operation, you'll probably have to wait a long time because emergency operations will be done first. But it doesn't mean you're never going to get your operation, even in today's NHS. So no, I'm not going to stop because I don't think that's an inconsistency. Right, community notice again. I just said I'm feeling too ill right now. Longer than because I did actually postpone the original live stream. And Crafty says, "Oh, good, sorry, didn't realise that before." So I don't need to put a reply there. Crafty can see it. Bathing into history. David Smith says, "Sounds like someone tried to cancel you, Ben. That's offensive." Well, David, people do occasionally. But I mean, it's. it is offensive to cancel anyone. I mean, I wouldn't cancel communists. I wouldn't. I'd let them have their free speech. Best way to discredit themselves. So why do they cancel? They cancel like libertarians and rightists. Anyway, bathing into history. David, I'm going to whisper this one, David. Your analogy with regards to sceptical thinking about someone painting being interpreted differently falls short for me. We saw someone paint it, or know someone did. Even abstract art, we have evidence and understanding of where it came from. An eyewitness seeing a bank robber doesn't carry the same weight because, brace yourself, we know bank robbers exist. We have very good evidence for them beyond eyewitnesses. We have no such evidence for anything paranormal. All we have our claim. Oh, that's our countdown timer. Right, we have anything paranormal. All we have our claims. Claiming you know about ghosts and actually knowing about ghosts are two vastly different things. Skeptics aren't moving goalposts. It's the woo believers failing to score, then claiming the posts need to be moved to where their ball went. Right, David, that's wrong. For example, I should have clarified. Obviously, the Sistine Chapel is a work of art because we know Michelangelo painted it. We know. He went in there, and it's attributed. It's basically an attribution, as art critics say. But what I'm saying is, what if it was anonymous? What if it was anonymous work? It was anonymous work. Again, I'd look at that and think that's a real painting. But a curmudgeonly skeptic could say that could be random blotches. And if you disagree with that, where's your cut-off point, David? Where's the statistical ceiling above which you will accept that is not a coincidental random splash of colours? Now, you say that the eyewitness of a bank robber doesn't carry the same weight because bank robbers exist. Well, they do, but then you claim then there's no evidence for anything paranormal. Okay, we have a foundational disagreement here because I believe there is evidence for the things I talk about, like UFOs, ghosts, etc. So you say claiming you know about ghosts and actually knowing about ghosts are two vastly different things. Yes, except if there's evidence for them, then it's not. And then you say skeptics aren't moving goalposts. It's we woo believers failing to score, then claiming the posts need to be moved where the ball went. But no, that's not. But I mean, there may be woo believers, to use that overused phrase, who do that sort of thing. I mean, there are people on the woo side, my side, that I don't think are very credible people. They don't understand science and rationality. There are many. We talked about the flat earthers. I think there are some of them. There are many others. The people who say that Lewis Hamilton is Barack Obama's son. It's things like that. I believe it or not. However, skeptics do move goalposts, and we've seen it happen. We've seen, for example, the evidence presented for the post-2017 UFO world. Mick West is essentially, he's moving goalposts. He said, well, skeptics used to say, there's no properly corroborated military gun camera footage of videos of UFOs. We provide the footage. They say, well, we don't know that's an official US Navy footage. Then it reveals that it is. And, some people like John Greenwald, they're honest enough to change their position. Others, like Mick West, they just double down. You see what I mean? So you're wrong about that, I think, David. Okay, it's the same video. I'm going to whisper again. Oh, sorry, I'm right. Sorry, I'm going to start another hour. Okay, guys, it's hour number 2, and I've got myself another cup here of coffee this time. Now, having a warm drink actually helps with my voice. This is why. So you could expect me, as long as this bad throat endures, I will probably have a warm drink at all times by my elbow here, which I'll be sipping from occasionally. But anyway, yes, it's the second hour, so let's go to Dave. Unbelievably, I'm about 3/4 of the way through the YouTube comments. I didn't expect that, because of course it's been longer than usual since my last comments reply video. It could be because there was just one upload. I mean, there has only been one upload. The others have been live streams, and it's could be just that. I don't know. But anyway, shorter the better. Actually, the way I'm feeling right now. David Smith says, if there is a can I whisper this, David? If there is a rock formation and we don't know how it came to be, we could have nutters making up all kinds of fanciful explanations from fairy portals to alien Middle Earth entryways, but they are just claims. Without evidence, yes, they're just claims. A geologist might look and suggest it could be some unknown natural phenomenon. What is more likely? Something we know exists already, such as natural formations or paranormal, for which there is far less solid evidence for. I think you're kind of outlining Occam's razor in this case, the law of parsimony, which is the most likely. You go for what the most likely explanation first. So yeah, you would go for the idea that yes, it is some natural phenomenon at some point. Could be lightning, could be a ball lightning, something like that, something we know already exists. But the thing about Occam's razor is, what if there is evidence that it's something? What if evidence comes about that it's not that? Which does happen. What a lot of people, I think, misuse Occam's razor because they say, well, it's still more likely to be this, even despite the evidence to the contrary. It's still more likely to be the likely thing. So it seems that the non-paranormal explanation you should always consider first, regardless of how much evidence against it there is. And the paranormal explanation you should always look at, you should always disregard, regardless of how much evidence is for it. Now, and for some principle, according to some standard that I don't understand and has never been explained by any skeptic. I'll carry on here. Dropping a bike into the rainforest where a tribe have never seen such a thing before might have them wondering what it is, how it came to be, etc. But if one of them says it was from God, he would be wrong. Correct. As Arthur C. Clarke says, any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. In fact, that's actually happened, in which people who do live very isolated lives in the rainforest and have had no contact with the outside world, they come across people from the modern world who have a higher technology. And my brother knew someone who actually visited some people in New Guinea who are like this, they don't really, they say, well, how does this work? And sometimes they put it down to some kind of supernatural force. We used to do that ourselves. People used to think that lightning was supernatural before we realised it was electrical discharge. We used to think that bats were psychic before we realised they had sonar. So, I mean, I don't disagree with that. So, I don't know what point you're making here, because what you just said is true. If they were familiar with the phenomenon of bikes, then they could answer the question. Until then, the only answer would be, we don't know. Correct? To say, we don't know but likely God would be a disaster for anyone who valued truth. It would, if it turned out that there's no evidence that it did come from God, no. I mean, if you just dropped the bike there somewhere, and you just dropped the bike in the jungle, yeah. That would be, I think you'd have to be using a fallacy to come to that kind of conclusion, an assumption that it's God. On the other hand, if whatever image of God they have appears with the bike and says, "Here you are, mortals, I'm giving you a bicycle," would it then be a disaster for the truth if they said then it came from God? You see, it's important that you answer. It's important you understand the answer that you give, because if you say no, then you have an unfalsifiable hypothesis. Even if God does turn up and give them a bike, you still can't say it's God. So maybe some things we can't tell if they were made by nature or humans or something else. But we have lots of good evidence for the first two already existing, so it's not a bad bet. Okay, I'm just going to read that bit again. So maybe some things we can't tell if they were made by nature or humans or something else. But we have lots of good evidence for the first two already existing, so it's not a bad bet. Well, yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that, David. I mean, I actually got into a bit of an argument with someone the other day because they sent me a video of what they said was a giant on a mountaintop, and I looked at it and I realised, according to scale, you could see the mountain was a long way off because it had snow on it, The foreground had no snow, so it was a big mountain above the snow line. And I said, I'm sorry, I think that's fake. And of course, it could be something else. Because I'll be the first one to say if it turns out it's not. If someone sees a UFO, and this actually happened. I mean, so there was like these aerial pyrotechnic display teams in Hertfordshire, which were listed as UFO sightings. Turned out they weren't, and I said, okay, it's not. Someone said it's an air show. I said, which air show? They told me, and I said, okay. So I think if you're suggesting I do anything else, you're misrepresenting me, David. So no, I don't really disagree with anything you said there, I must say. Investigate with Nick. Oh, Nick, I met Nick. He appears in the video, actually. Awesome video. It was great to finally meet you, Ben, and also the Crafty Nihilist crew. Hope to catch up with you all soon. Let us know when your next conference is, Ben. All the best. Thanks very much, Nick. It was great to meet you too. I'm going to be at the Lapis conference in Lytham St Anne's later this month. I'm speaking this Thursday at the Birmingham UFO group. I don't know if you can get to those. And Crafty Nihilist said, good to meet you too, Nick. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, these people really exist. You know, they're actually there. Investigate with Nick says on Bathing into History. Can I whisper this, Nick? Ben, that rumbling sound you heard, I have experienced too over the years. Alright, that's when we were sitting in the pub beer garden. Yep. Up at that little village. Moncton Varley, in the middle of the country. One time last year, in the middle of the night, the rumbling was so loud my bungalow was shaking. I immediately ran outside thinking it was a low-altitude aircraft flying over, and I could not see anything. It was a clear night. It was clear sky that night, and I'm still baffled what it could have been. The sound was definitely coming from the sky. Also, have you heard of the Bristol hum? The Bristol hum is an unexplained phenomenon which has intermittently irritated some Bristolians since the 1960s. The humming sound is a low-pitched noise that has prompted a range of theories, but there's no consensus on the cause. I've also heard the hum myself over the years coming from the sky too. Maybe it's something you were hearing in Bath. Oh right, that's interesting. Because there's things called skyquakes, and it's a mystery what causes them. But people have recorded them. They've actually filmed them and got audio recording of them. They sound sometimes like rumblings, like you say. Sometimes they sound like trumpets blowing. And what causes them is unknown. I mean, it's been suggested that solar wind could be behind it, magnetic fields in the atmosphere. Some say it's aliens. The Bristol hum, yes, I've heard of the Bristol hum. The hum, which you mention here, actually appears in lots of other places as well. Janet and Colin Board report there's at least four in this country alone. And some of them are still going on, yeah. And the Crafty Nihilist says underneath, Crafty actually lived near Bath. We used to hear the hum in box, I did. Mark never heard it, used to keep me up all night. We live over the Rudlow Dum, so no surprise. All right, there does seem to be a connection with these bases, Crafty, there does. And like I say, you're very close to the Rudlow Manor, which has a deep underground military base. It was actually, it was built a long time ago during World War II, but it's still in use now. Yeah. Here we go. Comment. This is my community notice again about the Queen. The lady doth protest too much, methinks. All right, you're talking about. You thinking I wasn't going to do something? Yeah. Well, I did. I did a live stream, didn't I? I did lots of things. I put up a Queen mini portal actually on a HPANWO voice. Lisa Cry Freedom says on Bathing in History. You have to smile regarding all the CVID fuss about muzzles, and now they are walking around sharing telecom phone units here. Just saying, lol. Well, you see, Lisa, it seems to have gone down the memory hole a bit, hasn't it? Have you noticed how they're trying to make us all forget it? Yeah. Charles Scott. Okay, Charles. I'm just going to quickly skim this and see if it's about the usual. No, all right. No, I didn't. This is all false. You're now saying I changed my story. What did I? Let's have a look. What are you talking about? Well, Chris, what can I say? I actually wrote 3 times to you requesting an invoice, which and despite what you said here, your response to my emails was to make me eat your silence. Well, eat to eat your. All right, Charles. Maybe I didn't. Your response to my emails was to make me eat your silence. Means that he didn't reply. He didn't reply. Okay, look, Charles. I presented you with. I shared some private correspondence with you. I shared a screenshot of my emails, in which Chris Evers is a contact of mine. He's also a friend on Facebook. For some reason, he hasn't unfriended me or blocked me. I was expecting him to do that, but he hasn't, which is fine. I'm not going to do that to him either if he doesn't. Okay, I showed you that, and I showed you quite clearly proof that he had not written to me. Okay, he'd not written to me, even though he's a contact. Nothing's going to go into the spam folder because he's a contact. You said in response to that I had faked that image. It was a Photoshop screenshot. You said that. Now, Chris Evers provided you, and he provided everyone. He published an image of what looks like an invoice addressed to me. Now, you said that was genuine. Or even though he produced exactly the same kind of evidence that I did, you prejudged the situation that what I sent you was fake, what he sent you was real. This means you are giving Chris the benefit of the doubt that you won't give me. Now, if you're going to do that, because I could be lying. I'm not. I'm telling the truth. I also believe Chris did fake that image. I can't prove it. I've got no evidence. I mean, you can fake it. You don't even need Photoshop these days. You just need Paint, Windows Paint. But you have misunderstood what I was saying about eating silence. So I'm afraid, Charles, I can't discuss this with you. I cannot discuss this with you when you will not. You immediately give Chris the benefit of the doubt. You will not give me. This proves you have an a priori bias. So, what evidence could I send? All right. If you give me hypothetical evidence that I could send to you that would prove you wrong, I'll discuss that with you. But right now, there's no point. I can't deal with this when you are so a priori fixated on one side of the argument. So moving on. Nope film review. H says the film is a load of woke racist shit. Funnily enough, H, it's not. Now I was expecting it to be. I was expecting it to be like Jordan Peele's last film, which was called Get Out, which was a load of woke racist shit. But you know what? Nope wasn't. Now, Nope is not. I'd give it 5 out of 10. Nope is not the greatest cinematic achievement in history, but at least it doesn't play bloody white guilt trips on people all the time. Get Out was an absolute cultural Marxist anti-white fest, and Nope wasn't. So for that reason, I think gives me is a good reason to see it favourably. I probably enjoyed Nope more than I would have otherwise because basically I was measuring it against my expectations, which are so much lower. Lyle Watson, it's an old video. This is Spirit Child says, I'm grateful for the times I grew up in the 80s when books like this were still incredibly popular. They were good for the imagination and critical thinking skills. Oh, they're fantastic now. I think you can still get them. They seem to be the second-hand copies seem to be quite abundant, luckily. But there's some that like the Romeo era, which is quite rare. Lightning Bird, I managed to get one of those. Just basically because when my mum died, I inherited her books, and she'd been reading Lyle Watson's. Otherwise, I wouldn't have got it. So thanks for that comment, Spirit Child. Bailiffs Out of the Blue, another old video. T Crook says 3 have done this twice. I rang cancelling 3 contracts. I asked, do I owe any money? She said no. 2 weeks later, I got a bill for a fee I wasn't aware of. Arseholes. So you don't use any punctuation marks there at all. Capitalisation Crook, but T Crook. But yeah, I mean they contradict themselves all the time. You get different messages from them continuously. Reply to comment 63. 86 says Crafty Knight. Oh, Crafty, well done. Congratulations. bathing into history. The respected Lex says, lead is not dangerous. I'm getting a Galen Windsor vibe. Who's Galen Windsor? Is he that poet laureate guy? Galen Windsor. Is lead not dangerous? Lead is poisonous. Yeah, lead is toxic over on a chronic level. Which the Romans used it and they didn't realise how. Probably they got lead poisoning symptoms and thought it was something else. Am I still recording? Yes, I am. Maureen Russell says on Helen Duncan, the most dangerous psychic in the world. What's a typical Scotswoman supposed to mean? Sorry, Maureen, it was a mildly misogynistic comment I made there. Basically, I find Scottish women tend to be, like Welsh women, tend to be quite domineering and bombastic. And Helen was, to be fair to her. She was. That's what I mean by that. I was only really being light-hearted. I wasn't being seriously misogynistic. I've got a lot of respect for Helen. I thought she was a great lady. Her granddaughter's a good friend of mine. Queen Death Livestream, Neil Peel. Sounds like you're getting over a cold, Ben. Hope you feel better soon. Thanks, Neil. That was 11 days ago. But you know what? I still haven't got over I've got over the COVID, but I haven't got over the laryngitis. Queen Death Livestream. Karim Negjari says, get oregano oil and turmeric, Ben. Cut down on the sugar and other unhealthy foods to overcome. Thanks. I've already got like turmeric, Karim, and that's a good anti-inflammatory. It helps with my arthritis as well. I'm also having honey and lemon, squeezed lemon, and that's actually quite good for my my vocal cords as well. Same video. See how we are living. Charlie Veach announced her death about 12:30 and said some friends working in Balmoral said she died in the night and they'd been told to keep quiet until her family was informed. It's worth comparing how she looked before she started pushing the clot shot and her final appearance. In her final appearance, you can see she seems to have circularity problems with her hands. Turns out, like someone said, someone tweeted that she had bone cancer, and again she died at 2:37 p.m. I'm afraid I don't take Charlie Veach seriously anymore. He's shown himself to be, I think, rather opportunistic and dishonest. He seems to, he seems to like winding people up, and he seems to attach some kind of fake principle to it. But my opinion of him has dropped considerably since I made my video about him last, called Charlie Veach is back. Do you remember that? Same video, John David. Curious how Ben's people person sentimentality draws him close to the enemy camp at times. John, I can't help how I feel. My reaction is not something I have any control over. I don't consider, by the way, if you're talking about Sargon of Akkad, I don't consider him the enemy camp. I think he's wrong about a lot of things. He lacks scope, and he disagrees with a lot of things I believe. But I'm not. I don't believe I'm going to join the enemy camp just because I can entertain. Just because I entertain ideas doesn't mean I accept them. Social Dilemma. Social Dilemma, Trevor. We've done a show called Third Rail Radio. But he may have uploaded a copy to his channel, actually. What did the Queen do to earn her nearly so many billion net worth? I've been grinding my gears with those who told me they would have stood shoulder to shoulder with Robert the Bruce and fought the English, only to have them cry like babies over the Queen's death. To quote the Hound, fuck the King, and myself, fuck the Queen. Oh, right, we did discuss this on Third Rail Radio, Trevor. So what I could say to listeners is go to HPANWO Radio, HPANWO-radio.blogspot.co.uk. Scroll down, you'll see Third Rail Radio episode 124, I think it is. Or go to Social Dilemma on YouTube, and he's probably uploaded his own copy there. Check that out. I might actually have a look and see if he's done that. This is Trevor's channel. Oh, let me just show you it. Display capture. There we are. This is Trevor's channel. And he hasn't done it yet, but he will do. He's a good guy, Trevor. I like him. He's a good co-host of my show. Okay, so switch that off. Hang on. I just up this. The whole thing's bloody updated. It's confusing. Oh, it's alright. Got them back now. Same video, Emma Davidson. Amazing. I never thought about the cause of death. Apparently it was bone cancer, Emma, according to someone who tweeted it. Someone like I think it was Lady Creswell or someone. Oh God, I can't remember her name. A minor royal. I think it's odd the coffin was lead lined, as other royals have as well. To me, it's a waste of material. Another needless environmental problem. Honey and lemon to you, Ben. Get well soon. Thanks, Emma. I've had honey and lemon. It does me a lot of good. The cause of death well, this lady, this tweeter, said it was bone cancer. Now, the lead lining thing. All of them have lead lines. Probably because it's a very malleable metal. You can weld it and seal it quite easily. I went to watch a video about royal coffins. It talked about how they were all lead liners. It was kind of a preservation technique. Although I don't know why you'd want to preserve a body, particularly once someone's dead. I mean, you might as well just let it turn into bones. I mean, I just want either a cremation or an eco coffin, and a cardboard one that just dissolves and let the worms eat me. But I don't know. They discovered some old coffins in the vault the famous vault under St George's Chapel at Windsor Castle, of some old ones, and they found Henry VIII's, and the lead was the only thing that survived. Everything else was like the wood had all rotted away. But it was a very interesting video, if slightly ghoulish. But thanks, Emma. Thanks for the comment. Is Rail Diego Rivera genius to the real genius? Says on Queen Death livestream. Ben Emlyn-Jones is descended from King Arthur. Well, it's if King Arthur existed. Right, it's Queen Death livestream, and we got a thread here. Steve Mumbling says, "You ask why Charles won't do anything about Andrew, and then show Charles with Jimmy Savile. I think that's your answer." Yeah, could well be, Steve. And David Smith, "Don't hate on Jimmy. When I was a little kid, he fixed it for me to milk a cow blindfolded." Oh God. Oh, David, that's not funny. And Max Q says here, I'll have to whisper this because it's quite a long comment. "I don't understand what Ben is talking about. What could Charles do? What could Charles do about Andrew?" Well, as king, he could, the phrase "big brother" could take on a more literal meaning, couldn't it? He could at least monitor him and make sure that he stops what he's doing, and he's punished for what he did in the past. Andrew made an out-of-court settlement, and the woo-woos claim guilty. Ike does it, and he's not guilty apparently. All right. The out-of-court settlement was with VRG. VRG seems she only wanted more money. That's it. As for now, Ike did an out. The thing is slightly different. I don't believe that the certain Canadian human rights lawyer whose name I can't mention. I don't believe what he wanted from Ike was hush money. I think what he wanted from Ike was he wanted to ruin him financially. And when I read the book, I read the book The Biggest Secret. It was The Biggest Secret, and it was The Children of the Matrix, which mentions this human rights lawyer. And I personally think David should have fought it as fair comment. But I can't comment on it. I can't comment on that. I mean, the guilty innocent thing is a bit different when you're not dealing with a criminal issue here. You're dealing with a civil lawsuit, which. Hang on, no, sorry, they're both civil lawsuits, aren't they? Yeah. Okay. So you may be right there. You may be right there, Max. While we're on the subject of Ike, he knew about Savile and said nothing until after his death, just like the people he was condemning. Did he? How do you know he knew about Savile before his death? He was at the BBC. He may have heard rumours, but how do you know? Don't forget that when he was at the BBC, he was only at the BBC. He was at the BBC for not that long. It was really between he started, I think, he was there, I think, about in the 80s. He was there from about 1980 to I know he was 1991. He quit. How do you know he knew about Savile? He was a sports presenter. I mean, he was a totally different department. So how do you know? Now, before all the woo-woos jump on that, I claimed after death he'd been telling people for years in his book I think, yeah, he put it. I think it was in the children. Was it in the? It was either the Robots Rebellion or And the Truth Shall Set You Free. However, after lengthy discussion on his forum and much searching, Ike was forced to retract that claim and admit that, like so many others, he had said nothing till after Savile's death. He was one of the first. Someone actually challenged me to find a reference from David, and even offered me some bitcoins. However, how do you know David knew about it? How do you know David knew about it? See, you're making two claims here. You're saying that David knew about it and then said nothing, and you're saying that David didn't say anything, so he didn't know about it. I mean, which one is it, Max? In my mind, Ike is even worse than the other scumbags because he tried to gain traction by lying about telling people in his books, blah, blah, blah. It could be he'd even forgotten what he'd written in his own books, Max. Why is he worse? Is it possible he'd forgotten what he'd written? I can't remember every word I wrote in the Roswell trilogy. Some people actually come to me and tell me things about the Roswell trilogy that I'd forgotten. So I think I think you're being too hard on David here. You need to. How do you know he knew and actively covered up Jimmy Savile's crimes at the BBC? Okay, we have now Steve mumbling on the Queen Death live stream. Did I put? I think I put a reply to comment thing for Max Q. Yes, I did. The Luftwaffe was trying to flatten London. Would you prefer Harris drop bags of cheese and onion crisps on the Germans? FFS, get a grip, Ben. It was the job of Bomber Command to bring extreme violence to the enemy. I think, Steve, you really should look at, firstly, the Kellogg-Briand Pact, and secondly, the Geneva Convention. And I know that's to do with treatment of prisoners of wars, but there are, ever since the early days of warfare, in the days of knights and medieval knights, there was a code of conduct in warfare, which seems to have been forgotten. I mean, really, as we became more and more destructive, it seemed to be forgotten. And basically everyone adopted what you call terrorist tactics. What I don't like, Steve, is that World War II is portrayed as the ultimate good guys versus bad guys war. And it wasn't. David Smith says, but in the movies, don't they always show some kind of heroic sacrifice to ensure only the factories and other targets get bombed? That does sound pretty brutal. I think David, the actual the policy of carpet bombing civilians, it was a policy. It's not the only one who've used it. I mean, the Americans used it in Vietnam. The problem with war is war tends to be reduced to the lowest common denominator. Once one side starts behaving a certain way, you got to choose. I mean, do you uphold the moral principles of chivalry and then get walked all over, or do you do the same thing? A military strategist will almost always just say, well, we better do the same thing then. Steve says here, yes, brutal actions require brutal responses. So I'm going to whisper, Steve. Bomber Command was tasked with reducing the German cities to ash. Dresden is a good example. They sent in waves of bombers with high explosive bombs, first to smash all the windows, and the next wave dropped incendiary bombs, which created a firestorm that sucked through all the buildings via the broken windows. The third wave of bombers didn't need to drop their bombs as the first two waves were so effective. David Smith says, wow, I never knew that. Yeah, now, that to me is obscene. It is. Is there any way to say that was good conduct? Is that an act of heroism? Is that an act of courage and valor? Is it? Queen Death livestream Diego Vera. Ben Emlyn-Jones is re-releasing a World Cup song like Vindaloo, also starring Russell the Alien and the British Bigfoot. Russell. This King Arthur and Boudica. Now that would be quite a song, wouldn't it? Yeah. Hey Russell, you up for that? Yeah. As for Trevor the Bigfoot, I'll have to see what he says. My name's Trevor and I'm a Bigfoot. Queen Death livestream David Smith. I heard that the Queen didn't die. She actually went over to become a general in Putin's army. That's why they wouldn't show the body. Now, David, that is a bit extreme, even by my standards, wouldn't you say? Queen Death livestream. Nothing as it seems. I really want to be with you, my sweet lord. Now, there's a YouTube link here. What's this? George Harrison. All right. My
John.
sweet lord. Ads.
Yes, you. You could have saved me.
A scanner.
Alright. Thanks, mate. I've not heard this one. That's a George Harrison song. Thanks, mate. I've not heard this one. Seeing as he was the poor old George, he was the third Beatle to die, wasn't he? Yes. Because as you know, well, I'm not going to get into it now, but you know who the first one was. Paul, then John, then George. Yeah. So William Shepherd is not Paul McCartney. Max Q, right, we're on Alex Jones, okay. Alex Jones in court. I'm going to whisper this one, Max. Wow, Alex Jones messed up by employing one of the best legal teams in the world. And he could have had Ben and Emlyn-Jones. I'm a lot cheaper as well, Max. Ben, it's the fact that you, as you admit, don't understand things. That is the problem. For example, the defence lawyers didn't send the link. Did not the data a link to the data to the prosecution? They did. I mean, the prosecution barrister said so. A secretary sent it in a mistake that happens many times every day. Secretary, lawyer, who cares? The secretary was sending the link to many people and by mistake included one for the prosecution team's email address with all the others. A mistake that happens many times every day worldwide. Really? So you send evidence, you send it. Really, is that that sounds to me like a rather stupid mistake by somebody who should be a fully trained legal secretary. The prosecution actually emailed back saying, I guess you sent this by mistake, and the defence replied, the defence didn't declare it privileged in the 10 days they had. Why? Well, there's two reasons. Okay, well, let's hear the reasons, because if I was the defence bar, I'd say, yes, could you please, that is not to be published. That is private correspondence I sent you by mistake. Could you please delete it? And I'd then take steps to make sure that it could not be submitted as evidence in court, just in case. Anyway, what are the two reasons, Max? See, if you know these things and I don't, that's fair. I'm willing to be. The whole point is, the reason I have these comments reply videos is so that I can get into discussions like this. 1. The content of the messages regarding SH is by the by. It's the fact that Jones and his defence team claimed there were no messages that's the issue. It's not what the messages said. I know that they lied. I know that's true. Yeah, I know. I never denied that. The fact that there were messages proved Jones lied twice, saying there were none and saying he complied with disclosure. I know that. I think I addressed that in the video, Max. That Alex is now facing a perjury charge. The judge actually said, "Do you know the definition of perjury?" The content of the messages was not required, so declaring them privileged served no purpose. Well, no, I think the content of the messages was. No, the content of the disclosure was the content of the messages, which Alex said didn't exist. Okay, I think that's the point. So I don't think there's a contradiction there. The fact they existed and how the prosecution knew they existed would still come out in court with the same result. Notice how they hardly showed any messages. 2, I think. They didn't have to show any. No, the point. I know the point was that Alex there was private correspondence. I know, but the thing is that how you saying that would eventually come out? Would that eventually be submitted as evidence in court anyway? How? This is private correspondence that essentially was basically was on the owned by Alex and his attorney. So how would that not come out in court? How would that come out in court? If it was meant to come out in court anyway, why did Alex... See, if I knew some information... I mean, lawyers actually advise you to do this. If there's some information that you know is private, and you know that if it was made public, it would damage your case, most lawyers will just say, don't say anything about that. In my book, Roswell Rising, a Novel of Disclosure, do you remember? I assume you've read it, Max. Brololo, the lawyer, advises Klain. Klain says, that he did his spying 2 weeks before the traumatic event. His wife got cancer, and he just says they don't need to know that. See what I mean? 2. The defence knew the fact Jones lied about the 2 points above would be shown in court no matter what, so they let it run, hoping to get a mistrial. The defence knew the fact Jones lied. Okay, so if this would come out one way or another, how would that get Alex a mistrial? They let it run, hoping I don't understand how. If you had seen the day's footage, I have you. I think you should put 2 commas there. If you'd seen the day's footage, comma, I have, comma, you would know they asked for a mistrial over the text messages. No, I know they asked them. I found out about that. They try, and as you say here, I know in fact they tried so many times for a mistrial, at least 12, using frivolous reasons. They weren't warned about it. Well, what about Owen Schroyer? He was. They gaslighted Owen Schroyer. They told him he could talk about things on his show. He did, and then they have him up for contempt of court. You see, I don't understand why these are frivolous reasons. The reason the defence wanted a mistrial was to give Jones' bankruptcy claim more time to go through. As bankrupt, he would pay nothing. Okay, so Alex was not declared bankrupt, and the judge says you can't say you're bankrupt. I think he did apply for bankruptcy, didn't he? I remember in the original. See, I think Alex made a mistake in the original case. In the original court case, he should have pleaded fair comment, and he didn't. He should have apologised for breaching the Data Protection Act, and then pleaded fair comment, and he didn't. He sort of he just backed down and said, no, I didn't mean it. I don't really believe SH was fake. Don't forget. Oh yeah, as if he was bankrupt, he wouldn't be able to pay. That's true, of course. If you could declare bankrupt, you can't pay. I mean, I know some people who were fined and they declared themselves bankrupt, and so they couldn't pay the fine. Don't forget, Jones has been squirreling his vast fortune away, just like those big corporations. He's always moaning about how ironic. I don't know how. I don't know if Alex has actually done anything. Actually, I don't mind people being rich. I'm not a communist. I don't have this. I mean, there's this attitude of, I don't know what your political leanings are, Max, but I know the left-wing socialists have this idea that if someone's rich, they must have become rich through some kind of skullduggery. They can't possibly earn an honest living. But has Alex done anything? I know you and I disagree about this whole SH thing. Has he done anything criminal apart from this? What's he actually done particularly wrong? What's wrong with him earning a living? I mean, he's not a corporation, you see. He doesn't have he's not Alex Jones Incorporated. He doesn't have a board as a sort of to protect him from the consequences of his mistakes. He owns the company. He's head of the company, and he runs it directly, I think. Here we go. Anyway, according to Bernard Pettingill Jr., a forensic economist who testified at the trial, Jones's company has been valued between $135 and $270 million US. InfoWars alone is just one part of Jones's free speech systems, averaging about 3.2 million in annual revenue in recent years. Well, good for him. You had this discussion over David Icke. I mean, people said, "Do you know how much David Icke is worth?" And I remember people on the anti-David Icke conspiracy sphere, they kept showing the lists of the David Icke books thing and David Icke and Iconic and how much money they were making, as if they're bank robbers or muggers. No, they're earning an honest living. But here's the clincher. We know the link wasn't sent on purpose because it contained data about other cases, including personal data about people's health records. The defence team will be sued by third parties for this. Alright, so that's actually not proof it was sent by accident. That's a good way of covering up a deliberate leak as an accident. I mean, you could be right. It could be some kind of a horrific accident. You say it happens all the time. Well, I mean, goodness me, I'll have to remember. If I ever go to court, I'll have to bear that in mind, because that's scary. We know Jones was happy with his defence because he's using the same firm in the trial proceeding at the time of writing. Right, maybe he decided that it wouldn't be a good idea to... I mean, if I would be furious with that, if I was me. I would sack my attorney and get a new one. But, well, maybe not. You see, it could be that Alex looked into it and realised it was now not a good time to be switching counsels. You know, because it would cause delay. The new counsel would have to be briefed in and stuff like that. Anyway, that's a long comment, but I appreciate the information you've given me. You may be right on a couple of these points. I don't think there's anything you say that really contradicts what I said, apart from you seem very convinced that this was just a massive cock-up with the defence sending the items to the prosecution. I don't think that's likely. I think there's some suspicious elements here. But anyway, we may find out one day. Queen Death livestream, David Daniel. Hey Ben, sorry about me being stupid. How do lizards come into it? I don't understand. Oh, David, thank you for joining. Where do lizards come into? Oh my goodness me. I can't go into details here, David, but there's all kinds of information on human reptilians. Now, I'll tell you what, if you can find any of the videos of the RepCon conference, of which I was the MC, they're not on my channel, but also there's a feature film called Don't Mention the Reptilians, and I think it's on YouTube. Do watch that. I also recommend, it's quite long actually, it's over 6 hours, the Reptilian Agenda. That's by David Icke. Picnic at Hanging Rock watch party livestream. Vagabond Heart XX gives me a love heart, so I'm going to give them a love heart too. Thank you, Vagabond. Donna Wellham says on the same video, I see you and hear you, Ben. Thanks, Donna. Thank you very much. Dark Corners UK. I hope you're feeling better, my man. Oh, my voice has improved slightly. I think, like having a warm drink helps. And Winslow Burdette says, get well soon, Ben. Drink plenty of hot lemon and honey. That actually does a lot of good. I always drink that before bed and in the morning, and it actually does help my voice a lot. We got the German spammer again. I'm going to Shrimpton this guy. Shock of Ages. Mate, get some vitamin C and D and multi in you every day. If you aren't doing something like that already, it'll speed up your recovery. Keep fighting fit. I swear by them now, along with a change of diet. Anyway, I hope you're well. Better for the next live. All the best, mate. Thanks, Shock of Ages. And you know what? The vitamin C I've got, I've actually, it's here actually. This is vitamin C. Vitamin D, I think because I'm outdoors so much, I probably don't need vitamin D supplements. But I'm taking turmeric, honey and lemon, and that seems to do the trick, I think. Picnic at Hanging Rock, watch party live stream, investigate with Nick. Hope you get well, Ben. I had the C word a few months back and it's taken me a while to recover. Hope you're better soon. All the best. Thanks, Nick. Thanks very much. Bluebeam says underneath, the voice is messed for a while. Ben, if you're getting any heavy ongoing fatigue issues soon, do think about going into anti-inflammatory diet for a while. For instance, gluten-free, no eggs, no milk, no sugar, and meat-free. All right. Thanks, Bluebeam. You know, it's not that bad. I mean, the turmeric actually helps. My biggest inflammatory problem is my osteoarthritis, which is in my left hip and my left knee. I've had it on and off for quite a long time. I developed it at quite a young age. Probably it could be something to do with hospital portering, or maybe it's just a genetic thing. I don't know. My dad's got it as well. But the turmeric actually does a lot of good, I found. In fact, I haven't had a flare-up now for months. You know, it's been quite normal. Thank you. Alex Jones in court. All right, it's another comment by Max Q. Which I'm going to whisper because it's another quite long one. Ben, in your opinion, was the mass shooting at SH a real event? Did the shooter, I won't name him, shoot and kill 26 people are the victims real and the parents real, or are they actors? Then we have the brothers and sisters of the victims and parents, grandparents, cousins, aunts, uncles, etc. All the extended family, all actors. Why has no one ever come forward and said, hey, that's I know them from? Okay, I can answer that question, Max. In my opinion, do I think it was a real event? No. Did the shooter, who I won't name, kill 26 people? No. Are the victims real? No. Are the parents real? No. Are they actors? Yes. How much of the extended family have actually commented? Because, you see, Sophia Smallstorm actually goes through all the public statements made by extended family members, parents and extended family members. There are not a lot of them, actually. There are surprisingly few. So you say, are they all actors? Well, how many actors would you need for that amount of media, for that media footprint? Let's say the British government decided to fake mass shootings and use you or anyone else as an actor parent. Billy Smith, of a little boy aged 6 who died in the shooting. How long do you think your face would be on TV before someone said, hey, that's not Billy Smith, that's Ben Emlyn-Jones, etc., etc.? I know him from, or let's say they use your real name. Hey, Ben Jones doesn't have a 6-year-old boy named. The whole idea these now famous people are actors with 2 different lives and backgrounds is batshit crazy. It depends how much makeup they wear, Max. It depends what kind of social circles they have, which countries they come from, things like that. It may be interesting to know that Sophia Smallstorm grew up in the area under discussion here. She describes riding her bike along the country lanes near the town where it happened, and she says she recognises surnames from the local area. It's not a large area. There are only a certain number of families there, and she says that the people there, the surnames, they're unknown to her and everyone else she knows from that area. Alex Jones didn't stick by his guns because he knew his claims were indefensible. He never thought his actions would lead to this. In which case, I think he made a mistake. Now, he may have judged his claims indefensible. Certainly, the data protection issue was indefensible. In his position, I would immediately apologise for that. And obviously, if the people named wish to claim damages on terms of the data protection issue, then it would be perfectly justified for them to do so. You don't seem to understand that InfoWars and free speech systems are an advertising tool used by Jones to sell people stuff. Well, he has merch, yeah. He has everything from T-shirts to vitamin supplements, yeah, and nutrition. People who can't see this are the mark, the dumbest people around. Well, I don't think that's fair. I don't believe that his company is there simply to sell merch. Merch exists in it. A lot of people have merch. UFO Jesus, I got one of UFO Jesus' T-shirts. A lot of people have merch. There's nothing wrong with having merch. I mean, someone suggested I produce some myself. Well, I've got my books. My books are the only merch I have right now. But, I didn't set up this channel so I could sell merchandise. I didn't set up this channel, the YouTube channel and my other social media outlets, so I could sell my books. My books are there for people to read if they want, and I promote them. But I do not. It's not the purpose of them. So you say if people can't see this, they're the dumbest people around. That's not fair. That's not fair, Max. Alex Jones sells pills he claims will make your penis bigger. Anyone who believes that is a moron. I get spam all the time. Advertising me. Well, there's so many different things that there's so many stupid spam relating to sex, because they know sex is a big issue for most people. When you hit them in the area of their sex lives, you can hit them in their subconscious, in their deep thoughts and feelings, which is why advertisers use it. Yet he buys these bottles of pills for $4 and ships them out for $40. I think that's just a simple. I think that's just a profit margin. That's what was it the Marxists call it? Surplus labour. Again, Socialists believe that's immoral. I mean, I don't think it is immoral. He has a company to run, he has overheads. Why shouldn't he sell it at a higher price and make a profit? Are you saying he's some kind of tout? The guy has made hundreds of millions of dollars off the back of things like SH. For him, there's court cases are nothing. These court cases are nothing but an occupational hazard. Well, I think this one is a very serious occupational hazard. Sure, he's been sued a couple of times. He's faced legal problems before, but this is actually a very serious one. I don't think this is going to ruin him, but I think this is definitely the worst legal situation he's ever got into. I listened to the Alex Jones show on the Millennium Eve while getting ready to go to a party. He was claiming cities were getting nuked. I think that says it all. My opinion is that it happened exactly as we were told. I don't remember. I never saw that show. Obviously, he was wrong if he thought that, because it didn't happen, did it? Anyway, Max, the interesting comments you're giving me, I'm quite happy to enter discussion on this with you. So, I think we may have to wait to find out the truth about this, but there is obviously a story behind this. Definitely. Nothing as it seems on Picnic. Globalists are, I must say, inherently spherically orientated. Yeah. If you believe you mean people like me who think the Earth is a sphere, yeah. Gary Robinson, Picnic at Hanging Rock. I'm going to whisper this one, Gary. It's quite long. Hey Ben, have you been watching Rings of Power? No, I'm not. After watching the trailers and watching some of the interview, you mentioned it here, I've been cringing at the cast interviews running up to the release, in which all they did was talk about diversity and inclusion. Yeah. I'm boycotting it because the trailer, because some of them even saying we want to cancel Tolkien, we want to get rid of the person who created this entire franchise. And now Christopher Tolkien's dead, they can do it because this loyal defender of his father's work finally died at the age of 95, and these bastards have been circling like a flock of rainbow-striped vultures, just waiting for it. I think it's disgusting, and I'm not even going to click any links from this thing. I figured I would give the show a look, and upon watching the first couple of episodes, I was surprised at how much the diversity didn't really bother me in terms of the lead cast and supporting actors. What did bother me about the show is that whenever you see a bunch of extras, they tend to be organised into groups of 3 or 4 people, with each one being a different ethnicity. I think that just goes to show how little effort is put into the issue of diversity that these woke filmmakers won't shut up about. Anyway, I've only seen the first few episodes, and I found it very slow and difficult to follow. There were also a number of scenes with really bad CGI, which put me off. Cheers. Alright, well obviously I haven't watched it. I'm afraid I'm not going to watch it, Gary, because for the principle. However, it could be that it may not be as bad as I thought it was going to be. If you remember, Black Panther, I watched Black Panther, and it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. It was not as woke as I expected it to be. Yet, this. I don't know what else to say really to that, except because you're the one who's watched it and I haven't. The bad CGI is interesting because I watched the Jackson adaptations again, which are now they're more than 20 years old, and believe me, the special effects actually looks a bit dated. It's still great. I mean, it's still fantastic films, very respectfully done. But you can still look, the special effects is dated. But the fact that modern filmmakers, they can't even be bothered to do good special effects says an awful lot, doesn't it? It does. Anyway, I can't really say any more because you're the one who watched it and I haven't. Picnic again, Gary. By the way, I hope you're feeling better, Ben, mate. I've been taking ayahuasca microdoses oil for a few weeks and I feel so much better. I no longer have relentless cold symptoms and I'm no longer tired all day. I'm not sure if you can buy it in the UK or even if it's legal. If it is, Gary, maybe I could try it because, I've got this long COVID, so yeah. Final question. Oh, right, believe it or not, we've come to the end of YouTube already, after less than 2 hours. User 1 said, this is on homeopathic aspartame. Oh, this is a comedy video I did years ago. WTF lol. Thanks, User 1. Okay, so it's time to go over to BitChute. Now let's check out what BitChute are doing. Where is BitChute? We'll just have to open up another tab here to get BitChute up. And I'll go through all the various comments. I'll actually go through the videos as well as the notifications. Okay, so I'm just going to scroll down here. Ooh, as usual, you know, BitChute does have comment notifications, which is good. I might actually just not click the ones for the... Right. There won't actually be many because I haven't uploaded much since the last comment reply video. There's Queen Death live stream. Okay, that's Sweeps. I'll come on to that in a minute, Sweeps. Because even though it's a long time period since the last, because of my illness, I haven't uploaded much. I've done 1 upload and 2 live streams. It's a hiatus. I'm getting like millennial woes. Scrolling now, looking. Basically, the purpose I think of these these notifications is for, I think, old videos that because now they do give you comments, notifications. If someone posts something on an old video, I can find it. Whereas before, I just had no way of knowing at all if someone had actually posted a comment on an old video. It's probably still the quickest way of doing it. Okay, we're getting down through them. I also get notifications for BitChutes on certain channels, so that's good. Thank God for alt tech. I tell you, BitChute Roy is an absolute hero for what he's done with BitChute. He really is. Down we go. Is that going to be it? I think it is. Here we go. Facebook outage emergency live stream. Old video, thank you. Wayland said here, it shows how irrelevant Facebook is to me that I've not heard about this until today. I've not heard about this today before this moment. Exactly, Wayland. Yeah, overrated, isn't it, Facebook? Yeah. Big Nads says, fuck CIA fake book. Only idiots and braindeads even go there. And fuck this stupid channel. Yeah, well, you watched it, Big Nads, didn't you? You watched it all. Wayland said, it's a bit embarrassing that Ben's not been banned from Facebook by now. Yeah, Wayland, what am I doing wrong? It's just weird. I haven't even been in Facebook jail. Anyway, Big Nads, however much you hate this channel, I know you're going to keep watching it, so keep watching it and enjoying it. There we go, so scrolling down. We're nearly at the end, I think. We must be nearly now. 3 weeks. It's been about 3 weeks since the last live. I did it before I went off to Bath, didn't I? Bath wasn't surprising. It feels like it was longer ago than it is. Okay, bathing into history. I'll go to the channel page to deal with that. And that's the end. Great. Okay, so I will do what I always do. Mark as red. I won't forget to do that. And delete all. Delete all. Come on in, guys. Come on. I'm just waiting for it to respond. It takes a while. That's it. Okay, so now I'm going to go to the channel and I'll just go through the videos I've done since the last. Oh, I uploaded. Oh, right. Yes, I uploaded a few old ones, so I won't bother with those. Bathing into history. Here we go. I've got comments on bathing into history. Ayode says a very heartfelt tribute. Oops, I'm just going to click pause on that. A heartfelt tribute to Queen Elizabeth II. It's a BitChute link. What's this? A heartfelt.
Let the joyous news be spread. The wicked old witch at last is dead.
Oh, of course, it's Wizard of Oz. Very funny. I actually put on a text comment. I put lol. Somebody called. Now I can't actually. I can't read out their username because it contains a couple of rude words. But it's basically something Bolshevik, something else. Careful, you'll be shouted down as an anti-Semite. Well, not by me, but anyway. Okay, let's go back to the channel. Okay, Gareth Davis Memorial live stream. All right, there's a few. I actually uploaded some old videos which weren't anywhere else. Oops, that's the end of an hour. Okay. It's the end of an hour. Okay, so I'll be back in a little while with hour number 3, which probably won't be very long. Okay, guys, so I have actually uploaded some old videos. This is hour number 3. And of course, the Facebook. The reason it was the Facebook outage emergency live stream actually wasn't an old video on BitChute. It was actually a new one. So I because I just uploaded it. I didn't have a copy on BitChute, so I uploaded it just as a kind of like backup. So the Palma Volcano live stream I did as well. The Betty and Barney Hill 60th anniversary live stream. None of these have any comments on them. Free Will article and comments. That's the very, very good article by Claire Ray Randall. No comments. Queen Death live stream. Here we go. Now we've gone to new videos. All right. Okay. Sweeps Fox. Hey Sweeps. How you doing, mate? Thumbs up. Good research opinions, Ben, as usual. Take care of that sore throat. Rest up. Long live video. Stream video. Must have taxed your energy, but thanks for sticking it out. Good to see your face. Oh, I'll just press pause on that. Good to see your face in action with your Discord Sweeps. Thanks, Sweeps. Much appreciated. Do check out Sweeps to Fox on BitChute. I hate my new jacket. That's the name. That's the username. Fuck the Queen, unelected thief who stole, whose kids are nonsense. Well, at least one of them is. Yeah. Amayon says, you got a fucking weird, ugly head. Have you looked in the mirror lately, Amayon? Ugly bastard you are. Finally, visit picnic at Hanging Rock. No comments. Let's go to Odyssey now. Nearly done, actually. It's amazing. You're just over 2 hours. My Odyssey channel comments. Now I've had I should point out I had to delete. See, I do delete comments sometimes. And I actually deleted a couple of comments on my video Jews. I actually deleted some comments that were posted by someone called Terroristocrat Takedown 2.0. Now, the reason I deleted these comments was they were essentially Fed posting. So, you see, this is why people accuse me of deleting comments and I don't do it. But this is an occasion where I actually did do it. But the reason I did it was, as I said, there are situations where it is legitimate to delete comments. Okay, so let's go to reply to comments 64. Oh, I didn't do that on BitChute, didn't I? Have to go back to BitChute and do that. Because I forgot to do that last time, didn't I? Reply to comments 64, no comments. Okay, I'll just go back to BitChute again. Sorry if anyone posted, because I remember I actually missed some comments because I did put in text replies. But let's have a look. Yeah, the previous reply to comments, didn't I? No comments on that anyway, so that's all right. Oh blimey, I got yeah. So bathing into history. I get some good contributions on Odyssey, actually, I must say. No comments. Right, Queen Death live stream. Oh, it says 4 comments here, right, okay.
Good evening.
Right, here we
Good
go.
evening, everybody.
And it is actually Trust Nobody, yes. Good old Trust Nobody. Always good for a comment is trust nobody. I always trust nobody. Get well soon, mate, and bless you for not wanting to spread whatever bug you're suffering to your elderly clients, who'd at least be likely to fight it off easily. Yeah, thanks very much, mate. Thanks. I did put in a text comment. We have here now another longer comment here. Hi, Ben. As I have no TV, radio, newspapers here, I'm going to whisper. You're not missing much, Trust Nobody. I may have been the last person in the UK to learn of the death of Elizabeth Sydney Cricket Ground. My 90-year-old friend and I used to have evening chats over cups of coffee, putting the world to rights, and we are both very much against mugs inheriting title and wealth through mere accident of birth. She was an assumed surname adopted during World War I to hide their Germanic roots at the time of the greatest carnage. Yeah, that surprised me as well, you know. Saxa Cobra Gotha. She could never remember Saxa Cobra Gotha, so I made it SCG, to which cricket fans only means one thing. A Sydney cricket ground, yeah. I'm guessing you're Australian, trust nobody. But it says you're in Britain, but you sound Australian. The Windsors lost a lot of support when Diana died. Stroke was murdered. The latter. Of course, it has since been described as soap opera now. So it descended to soap opera. It's a part of history. Like 9/11, it's really no longer current affairs. I myself couldn't care less about that fucked up family. My mother was lucky to be in a coma when the Queen Mothball died. Queen Mothball. It's the Queen Mother, yeah. My late sister suffered all the mainstream media bullshit surrounding old Elizabeth Bowlegs dying. Elizabeth Bowes Lyon, yeah, and the Queen Mother. My mother now has dementia, but she loved Diana, hated Charles and Camilla, and hoped not to live to see him become king. I said it might speed up the end of the monarchy. If it did, Vauxhall, vive la revolution. Yeah, you can't deny the factual nature of what you say about the Queen and the royal family. As I said, you know, my response was it people power thing that somebody's accused me of was something I couldn't help. But I do see your point there, trust nobody. Thanks for that comment. Finally, Picnic and Hanging Rock Watch Party live stream. No comments. That's the Odyssey done. Now let's go on to Rumble. I'm actually being interviewed in about half an hour by somebody, so yeah. Rumble, let's have a look. Again, I don't get notifications. I get... so I'm just going to go through the... Alright. Oh, I've got... Why are they all in the wrong order? Oh. Easiest thing to do, just go to... For some reason, I don't know, it's because I've been uploading old videos, I think, to Rumble. The easiest thing to do is simply go to the HPANWO TV blog. I'm glad I keep that blog with the notifications. And I've got no comments. On reply to comment 64. Bathing into history. No comments. Queen Death live stream. We should get some here. No comments. Picnic and Hanging Rock. No comments. So Rumble is silent this particular time. Okay, guys, so the next thing to do is simply go. I'm going to refresh the channel comments and mentions. Okay, John Cutter says on Picnic and Hanging Rock live stream watch party. For fuck's sake, long COVID? Fuck off, mate. Grow the fuck up. What next? The fucking booster drug bullshit shot? No, if you listen to me, John, instead of just watching 5 minutes and deciding to rant at me, which you'd never do if we met in real life, of course. You'd know my opinions on the V word, the medical intervention to protect you supposedly from the C word, wouldn't you? No, goodness me. So you obviously, if you listen a bit more carefully, you'll know that I actually work with a lot of elderly clients, and that I have a duty to protect them. Thank you. So I hope you realise that. Okay, so what I'll do now is just go to the homepage notifications. Once I've done that, then that's basically the end of it. Let's have a look. Let's have a look going down here. I've only got one. It's Cornelius Crew. Don't bother, I won't watch it. Okay, and what should I say to him? Thanks for your comment. It'll be answered approximately within the 3rd hour of the upcoming comments reply video. Cornelius, come off it. We both know you'll watch it. That's the end, guys. That's the end. I'm quite glad. I just got to rest my voice for half an hour. I'm being interviewed by some people who started a new podcast, and I'll put the link up on HPANWO Voice, but I need to take a little break. But I'm glad that wasn't as long as these tend to be. So that's these videos tend to be so just over just 2 hours, 2 hours 10 minutes. That's not bad. So thank you all of you for watching this comment reply video. There's not going to be another video now for at least a week because I'm going to be away, but I do have ideas for new videos, and of course situations might emerge where I might want to do a live stream, in which case I will do one. So keep an eye on the channel. And I don't know how long this bad throat is going to last, but you know, I have to push on regardless, because if it's going to last, if it's a long COVID, it goes on for like months. I can't stop HPANWO TV for months. So, but I just hope that it won't come to that. Thank you all of you for watching HPANWO TV. Hospital Porters, pride and dignity. Stop the New World Order.